Welcome back, everybody, to the Single Dad Project podcast. My name is Henry. PJ is over there to my right. Today, I'm looking at the calendar, is October 3rd, Friday, October 3rd. We're shooting this show today. When you see it, there's going to be a backlog of podcasts that we're going to be getting to. But I want to get this one out because this month of October is our physical month, the physical project month. And so I keep looking at the calendar here because by the time you guys see this, by the time it gets out, we're going to release it on October 8th, which is a Wednesday. Make sure I get it out for sure. And the reason why is because the 8th, the 15th, the 22nd, and the 29th are all Wednesday days on the calendar for October. And the reason why I'm emphasizing that is because of how I do, not really my workout routine, because I haven't really worked out in probably more than 3 years now. But the routine that I would keep if I was working out on the regular, which is what this month is all about. So the last 3 months we did the spiritual project, the relational project, and the intellectual project. This month is the physical project, and each of those months that we keep shooting videos, but it's my fault for not posting them. So when you see them, you'll see the things that I'm talking about. But for each month, I'm doing the project for myself, and I'm giving little clues, little tips, little updates on the videos on my progress. And the objective is to stack on top of the project. So I started with the spiritual project, went from that to the relational project, but I didn't let go of the little spiritual stuff that I was doing. And I wasn't doing anything major other than watching YouTube videos on religion, church, Jesus, Buddha, things like that. So I just stacked that on top of what the relational project was, which is me getting a more closer relationship with my daughter, especially now that she's off in college, and kept that going. She's now, obviously, we're going into the second month of her being away at school. And my daughter and I have a little routine where I call her on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays just to stay in touch and keep our relationship going. For the intellectual project, it was about, what are you feeding your mind? I got a bunch of books here on the table that I'll be going through in a little bit. And the physical project is taking care of your body, but also the space around you. And my predominant talk for this month is going to be on the body, like working out, how to eat right, wrong, and all that kind of stuff. So the reason why I mention October the 8th, the 15th, the 22nd, and the 29th is because in the routine that I have, I lock in on Wednesdays to do basically a checkup on where I am as far as my body and my health. Before we get there, I have a few books that I want to go over. The very first book that I'm going to talk about is this book called Excuses Be Gone by Dr. Wayne Dyer. I don't remember if I told the story or not, but I had a client who wanted to lose weight, and her and I, we were training 3 days a week when I saw her. And so the reason why I'm telling this story is because I'm going from the intellectual project into the physical project. And so as I was thinking about this show, the way that to tie these two together is actually through this book and through this story. So she wanted to lose weight. Every time I met her in the morning in the gym, I'd say like, hey, good morning. How are you? Like more enthusiastic than that, but just like, hey, how are you? Good morning. And her response was always like, oh, I'm so fat. I feel like this. I feel like shit. Da, 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 da. And it wasn't, those words weren't coming out of her because she felt like that physically. I mean, that's part of it, but it was a mental thing. And I had already not read, but I listened to the book through audiobook. I thought it was such a great book that I wanted to go out and buy it. So I bought the book, and this is before meeting this client. But when she kept coming to me and saying, I feel so fat, I feel this, I feel that, I'm never going to be the weight that I want to be. It was all a psychological thing. It was the intellectual. So I took the book that I bought for myself, and I decided I'm going to gift it to her. And so one day I tell her, I'm like, hey, I got this book for you. I want you to read. And I wanted to make it simple. I told her, just read 10 pages. We met on a Monday, give her the book, read 10 pages. On Wednesday, let me know what you got out of those 10 pages. And then Wednesday, you read another 10 pages. Tell me what you got out of it. On Friday, you need to read another 10 pages, and then tell me what you got out of it the following Monday. So it was just, I was trying to give her structure for her mind. So Wednesday comes along, and I said, hey, how's the book? And she's like, I didn't read the book. I'm like, okay. We'll go through the workout, but at the end of the workout, I'm going to remind you to read the 10 pages and tell me what you think on Friday. Friday comes along, hey, good morning, how are you? She's like, I'm so fat. And I'm like, what did you think of the 10 pages I wanted you to read? She said, I didn't read the 10 pages. I'm like, okay. Do the workout, tell her on Friday, hey, read just 10 pages, and then let me know what your thoughts are on Monday. Monday comes along, same thing. Hey, how you doing? Good morning, blah, blah, blah. She's like, hey, I'm so fat, blah, blah, blah. How's the book? I didn't read the fucking book. And she got like really, did I tell this story or no? I feel like I've told this story a bunch of times to different people, maybe not on the show, but she's like, I didn't read the fucking book. And I'm like, why not? And she's like, I don't want to read. I want to lose weight. And I said, I understand that, but I'm having you read the book because what you're going through is a mental block. And the point of the book is in the title itself, Excuses Be Gone. She didn't have an excuse necessarily because we were meeting every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So the excuse for her to show up wasn't there because I was there. I was her accountability. What I wanted her to do is start to look at it from a different angle. And this is why I bring it up in the show, because there's a lot of us guys, this is Single Dad Project podcast, and I know I'm going to have some moms out there that are going to be watching the show too and getting information from this. You can use the information that I'm giving you, but my focus is always on the guys out there. Those of us that are single dads that have been getting our asses kicked by life and court and all the things that most single dads go through. Usually the thing that falls off right away, or the first thing that falls off, is our health, like taking care of our bodies and whatnot. So her excuse wasn't that she was working out. She was working out with me because I was there. The thing that was always falling off was the mental side. That's why I have the intellectual project in the mix here. And for her, the mental side was just being cool with yourself. It's like, it's okay. You feel like shit. I get it. We all feel like shit, but you're coming to the gym 3 days a week. I'm putting you through these workouts. So there's going to be changes. The thing that I wanted her to realize, and the reason why I bring it up in this show today, because a lot of people don't realize this aspect of body-mind relationship, is every time when I greeted her in the morning, every time she responded with, I'm so fat, I'm so fat, I'm so fat. And I wanted her to realize, like, your perspective is not going to change until you let go of that dialogue, basically. Like, and if you hang on to that dialogue, it's going to be even harder for your body to let go of that image that you're giving it. So I'm wearing a shirt today with the logo Image Union. A lot of the times when I'm doing these shows, I don't want to promote anything, but the t-shirts that I have for a specific reason on the show. Image Union has nothing to do with working out, but the title is interesting to me. It's like, what's the image that you have of yourself? And the image that this client of mine had of herself was that she was always fat. Was she chunky? Yes. All that being the case, she had taken steps by hiring me to make that change, to be in better shape, to be thinner, healthier, and all that kind of stuff. But the thing that was blocking her was her mindset, the intellectual project. And so by giving her the book, I just wanted her to read what was in here, because I like I said, when I did the audio book, I was like, man, this is such a great book. I don't know if it shows up in the camera, but I highlight everything that I read. And so for me, one of the things that I wanted her to just unconsciously do is just read the book and let the book change your mindset. Because sometimes the thing is, when we're working with the intellectual, the more repetitive the things are that you're feeding your mind, whether consciously or unconsciously, starts to alter your perspective. And it takes a very discerned person, very discerned mindset to take in information and be like, okay, this is useful or this is not useful for me. And I'm a victim of it too, like not on the health side, but in other aspects of my life. Like for the longest time after the divorce, I kept telling myself I'm a terrible dad because I allowed this thing to happen where my daughter doesn't have her dad with her anymore. Me and her mom are divorced, so she's going to grow up with like two separate parents and what. So I kept beating myself up mentally for the better part of 2 years after the divorce, until I finally just like, and there was a process to it. It took time to let that shit go. But once I let it go, I was like, all right, I'm free of this fucking weight off my shoulders. And now I can go be a productive dad, not just kick my own fucking nuts and say like, you're such a terrible dad for doing this to your daughter. Especially one of the things that helped me was recognizing that there are some dads out there that are way more fucking evil than what I had done. And dads that are way more fucking evil that stayed with the mom. They're still in a relationship and they do shit to their kids. And it's just like, I'm not in that category. So it was a mindset shift that had to happen. And so end of the story here for this client, me and her ended up firing each other. I never asked for the book back. I was always hoping that she would someday in the future take the book and let it do what I was hoping it would do, which was to change her mindset. But I went out and bought another book for myself. So I wanted to tell that story because it's a blend between the intellectual project and the physical project with the story I have with this client, this particular client. So going into the physical project, one of the things that I have seen over the years as a trainer, personal trainer, is the amount of information that's out there for people to take in. And just like I was saying before, it takes a really discerned, disciplined mind to like block all the bullshit that's coming in and take in the stuff that's of value. There's a lot of stuff out there when it comes to quote unquote health and working out and training and all that stuff. That's like good information, bad information, and just information that's completely useless. So my objective for this month, for the show, for the single dads out there, is to give you information that's relevant to where you are in your life. Like I said, my thing is I know a lot of single dads that are way out of shape. And I know there's a lot of single dads out there that are in good shape. But for this particular show, I'm talking to you guys out there that are not in good shape. And what can you do about it? And make it as simple as possible. So I have some books in here. I'm going to go through these in a little bit, but I got this stack here. There's different different books for different things in here. What I want to start with before I get to the books is when you're thinking about working out or to get yourself in better shape, condition, whatever terminology you want to use. For me, there's always a starting point, and the starting point actually begins with the intellectual, the mental side. That's why the way I have the project set up is intellectual and then physical. So when you're thinking about working out, thinking about getting in better shape, or you're just sitting on the couch and you're like, man, I got this pot belly here. I'm feeling like slower and I'm feeling older, and all these thoughts come into your mind. Once you decide that you want to make a change, then on the mental level, you gotta keep that in the forefront of your mind, basically. One of the things that I did after the divorce, because prior, I would say about a year before my daughter was born, I was probably pushing 225 pounds, 230 pounds. I don't know what my body fat was at the time, but I knew on the scale I was pretty heavy. Around the time of my divorce, I had lost weight. So I had gotten myself down to around 185 pounds, from like 225-ish down to 185, and about 22% body fat. The thing for me, and then after that, especially going through the divorce, I may have mentioned on the show, I can't remember. The thing that kept me from going like super insane mental about everything that I was experiencing during that time was actually working out. Working out kept me from going mental. And the thing that was in the forefront of my mind was I didn't want to be an out of shape dad for my daughter. I wanted, and especially like let my health deteriorate so much that I become sick, I become ill, and then I'm not around for my kid. So that was on the forefront of my mind. I want to be a healthy, strong dad for my little girl. And I knocked out all the negativity, and that was the thing that just kept coming. Like, I want to be strong and healthy for my kid. I want to be strong and healthy for my kid. I want to be strong and healthy for my kid. However I did it, I didn't, like, the how wasn't in my awareness. It was just, I want to be a healthy dad for my kid. Now, mind you, at the time of my divorce, I was living with my parents because I was kicked out of my house, obviously, going through the divorce and all that shit. I wasn't working a regular job, so I had no money. I didn't have a car. I was borrowing vehicles to drive around in. So all the normal resources that people rely on, I'm like, I'm going to drive my car to get to the gym. None of that shit was available to me. So the how wasn't present in my mind. I just knew I don't like this body that I'm in. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel healthy. But the worst part is, like, I don't feel healthy for my kid. I want to be there for her. So get it into your mind, number one. I guess that's the first lesson, is get it into your mind, number one, what you want and why you want it. Just to say, like, hey, I want to lose my belly, I want a six-pack, is not a strong enough motivator, is not a big enough inspiration for most people to keep going. And so because I'm talking to, or at least my focus of the talk is to single dads, you have your motivation, you have your inspiration, it's your kids. Try to be there as best you can for your kids. And that one of those things, in my humble opinion, is to be in good shape and good condition and good health so that you're around for them for a long time. So that's number one. Number two, going into the physical, is you got to set up your schedule for the activities that you decide that you're going to make for yourself. Every time I've had a client and a client's come up to me and they're like, I want to lose weight, my first question is, what's your schedule? And that stumps most people because they're used to trainers asking them, great, how much weight you want to lose? I don't give a shit about how much weight you want to lose. What's your schedule? So that we can fit these activities inside of your schedule. And what most people do is they'll be like, the responses that I got was I'm going to work out 6 days a week. Bullshit. When's the last time you worked out 6 days a week? And then when I ask them the question, they're like, 3-4 months ago? Bullshit. And then if you were working out 6 days a week 3-4 months ago, why'd you stop? Because the reason why you stopped is gonna be the reason why you stop again. So my thing has always been, after you decide this is why I want to be in good shape, what is your schedule? As a single dad, especially these last 3 years, my schedule was kind of fucked. I was working overnights. I started working at 10 o'clock at night to 6 o'clock in the morning. And if that was it, that'd be fine. But the reason why I was working that schedule was to have time during the day to go pick up my kid from school, take her to practices, take her home from practices, because she had competitions, on the weekends. We weren't doing the every other weekend thing anymore. And that's why I changed my schedule. I started working overnights so I can have that schedule with my daughter. That schedule for the last 3 years was not conducive to going out and working out and trying to stay in shape. It's the wrong schedule to be on. So I'm telling you, I'm giving you my experience for a reason, because most people will come on here and say, well, that's an excuse. No, it's not, because I knew with that schedule, when you're working overnight, and if there's some dads out there, single dads out there that are working the overnight schedule, I feel you. You're working off of your natural rhythm that us humans are used to operating on. We operate when the sun comes up, when the sun goes down, we go to sleep. That's natural. Staying up past those hours and working is unnatural. So being on that schedule fucks everything up. The way your hormones work, obviously your sleep schedule is off. And with mine, it was off extra because I'd get 2, 4, maybe 6 hours of sleep, and not a complete 6 hours. I'm talking about 2 hours here, wake up, go get my kid from school, take her to school, take her to practice. I'm sitting in the parking lot, asleep in the parking lot while she's in practice. So I get an hour and a half there, take her home, get some sleep before work. I get maybe an hour before work, and then I'm working again. So my schedule was my sleep schedule was off because I was working overnight, and my sleep schedule was off even more because I was taking the daytime to be with my kid. And the few days that I tried to work out, meaning like I did the actual workouts, I'd be falling asleep on the forklift at night, and that's not good. I'm either going to kill myself at night or I'm just not going to work out. And those were the choices. It wasn't about being lazy or making excuses. It was about recognizing this is my schedule. It's not a good schedule to try to, get a 6-pack on. It's not going to work. So that's why that first question that I ask is very important. What is your schedule? Now, what I ended up doing for the last 3 years is I didn't work out. I regulated how I ate. And I'll save that topic for a little bit later. So what's your schedule? Once you can, I hope you're taking notes, PJ. This is taking notes. Once you figure out what that schedule is, where are the gaps? if there are any gaps for you to work out. Like, for example, if I'm working overnight and I don't have to pick up my kid, let's use that as an example. Now she's in college, so if I was still working overnight, now I've got all day, because I don't have to see my kid anymore. I've got all day to plan out when I'm going to work out, how much sleep I'm going to get, and whatnot. Then it's a schedule that I can work with. But the schedule that I was on prior, that I was telling you, when I'm picking up my kid from school and everything, was not conducive for working out. So once you know what your schedule is, try to fit in the times when you can work out. The times are the days, usually the days. And most guys want to sit in the gym for an hour, hour and a half, 2 hour and 45 minutes, 2 hours, all this kind of crap. You don't need that much time spent in the gym. It's for me personally, it's a waste of time. As long as you're consistent, you're going to achieve your goal. I know there's people out there that kind of get antsy and they're like, well, I want to lose the weight because I got a wedding coming up. Blah, blah, blah. All that to me is bullshit. Just stay consistent. After a number of months, or at least close to a year's time frame, you're going to achieve your goal as long as you stay consistent. So let me use that opportunity to talk about me not working out. Every January, I try to check my weight, my body fat, see where I'm at. So since we're doing the show in January of this year, I weighed in at like 215 pounds, 26. I have to go back and check the numbers. 25% body fat. It's October now, and I'm at, I weighed myself on Wednesday. This is why I picked the Wednesdays. The Wednesday was the first of the month. So on Wednesday, I weighed in at 196 pounds, 22% body fat. For a 50-year-old, that's pretty damn good. It's not excellent, but it's pretty damn good. How did I achieve that? I didn't go to the gym. I didn't work out. I just regulated how I was eating. I took the schedule that I was on and I was like, I can't work out. It's just, I'm either going to kill myself at work, or I'm going to miss picking up my kid from school or something. Like, I didn't want to deal with it. So what I could do, because this is something that everybody does every day, we eat, I can regulate how I was eating. So that's why I say, take the schedule that you're on and figure out what is in your schedule where you can schedule in either a workout or try to use these ideas that I'm giving you about the regulating the way you eat. So that was number 2, your schedule. Number 3 is, once you figure out what your schedule is, and let's say your schedule is open enough that you're like, yeah, I can work out. What should I do? My biggest thing is keeping things as simple as possible. PJ and I were talking about drumming earlier before we started recording the show. And it's interesting to me because there are drummers out there, like the Ringo Starrs, like who's the drummer for AC/DC?
Oh, there's a few of them, but I can't think of it right now.
So AC/DC, if you listen to their music, the drummer's got like just a beat, and he sticks with that beat. There's nothing. One of the reason why I bring it up is because one of the things that I've always heard about AC/DC's drumming is that it's like very like basic. Yeah, so what? It works. Less is more. Or like the girl from the White Stripes. I've heard people talk shit about her drumming, and her job is to keep the beat, and she keeps the beat. So what I'm trying to say here with respect to what are you going to choose to do, my suggestion is to keep it simple. So going on a little tangent, a lot of the things that you see online is like these trainers or wannabe trainers, or supposedly they're trainers, on the Instagrams and the YouTubes, and especially on Instagram and TikTok, showing off their bodies and showing off their little fucking workout, their whatever is you consider their workout routine. And the reason why I bring this up is because I've had clients in the past say, "Hey, I want to do what this girl's doing," and I look at the I look at the Instagram and I'm like, all she's doing is showing off her fucking ass. If that's what you want to do, get an Instagram account and go show off your ass and be happy. And, those clients have always come back, well, my booty's not nice enough. No shit. That's why you're with me, and I'm going to get you to where you want to be, but it's not going to be doing this crap. And so one of the books I have here is just an exercise book. This is a Nike thing. It's just all exercises. You can see kind of how thick this thing is. All exercises in here. Nothing, no routines, nothing. It's just exercises. The interesting thing with this book is, for example, a plank. A simple plank. If you don't know what a plank is, your plank is just, you're on the floor, hands are on the floor like in a push-up position, and you're just straight. Your body's just straight. There are so many different variations of a plank in this book. If you were to open a page and you didn't know what you were doing, you'd be like, oh, that's a plank. No, that's a variation of a plank. Same thing with a push-up. There's so many different variations of a push-up. There's so many different variations of a squat. There's so many different variations of a curl. There's so many different variations of a press. So I say this to say that the exercises don't mean shit to me, because there's so many different things that you can do. And one of the things that I learned from trainers, high-level trainers in the past, was they focused on 3 or 4 exercises: your push, your pulls, maybe a twist, and a press. And that's it. It's that simple. So the routine that I would give out, and I've given it out when we were doing the show way back in March, is doing a push-up, a squat, a sit-up. And people can argue that sit-ups aren't that great, but there's a lot of people that can't do just a regular sit-up. They can't pull their upper body up to their knees from laying down on the floor. And so there's muscles in there that are not strong enough to pull somebody up. So I think of a sit-up as kind of an essential sort of thing. And I would put a deadlift in there, but I'm giving you the other 3 because you don't necessarily need equipment to do those 3. And like I said, I'm trying to keep it very, very simple. So when it comes to exercises, there's a variety. There's like so many different exercises out there. And I've done with my clients like crazy off the wall shit, and a majority of the time it's been the basic stuff: push up, squat, sit up, little curls here, presses there. So don't try to, my suggestion is, don't try to get elaborate with the exercises, because one of the things that happens for people is they get into this mindset where, oh, well, I don't have enough variety, so I gotta keep looking for the next best thing. And if your energy goes to looking for the next best thing, guess what happens? You stop working out instead of just doing the thing that's in front of you all the time. And the thing that's in front of you all the time is you got this machine, your body, that you can use. Drop it onto the floor, do push-ups, stand up, do squats, drop it back down to the floor, do sit-ups. Sounds really easy, and it's very simple. Did you ever try that routine I gave you, PJ?
Oh, yeah.
How was it?
Oh,
Kicked your ass.
it kicked my ass.
But it's not meant to kick your ass. It's just so simple that it's deceivingly simple. But because you're in an unconditioned, I'm not just saying you, PJ, like in general, if you're in an unconditioned state, this little routine will kick your ass. So once you figure out your schedule, you want to know what to do next. I'm going to give you the what to do next. But before we get there, I want to talk about these other things. when you are here, let me grab this one because you got basically two choices when it comes to working out. You can go to the gym, like go park yourself in a box and go work out there, or you stay at home or go in your backyard or drive to the park. The last three, the stay at home, backyard, go to the park, I consider like home workouts because you don't have to go pay to go use equipment or go somewhere. You can still use your own body. And this isn't necessarily an endorsement. I have this book here because I bought this thing back in the day. I actually did it. I worked out P90X 2, 3, however many versions they have now. But it's a good workout routine. It's a routine where you are using his program, Tony Horton's program, but you're at home. And if you're a single dad that doesn't have a lot of energy, that doesn't have a lot of money to go out and spend on gym membership, my suggestion is to do the home workout. Either inside the house, in your backyard, go to a park, and do the workouts there. There's nothing wrong with the gym. You have a lot of advantages with going to the gym. Equipment, staying kind of accountable because you're surrounded by a lot of other people that are trying to accomplish the same thing. Although these days I think the gym is a fucking joke because there's way too many people in there with their phones trying to show off their little, their little ass or their biceps and shit like that. It's just distraction. So for the single dads out there, my personal suggestion is to do the home workout. Stay at home, save your fucking money, save the time it takes you to do the workout. Because if you go to the gym and let's just say you're looking for a squat rack and all the squat racks are used, now you got to wait until somebody finishes, or they're on their fucking phone anyways, doing whatever the fuck they're doing. So then you never get to your squat. And it's just a waste of time. So that's why the clients that I had in the past that were like, oh, I'm going to go to the gym and I'm in the gym for an hour and a half. I'm like, why are you spending an hour and a half in the gym? Well, I got to wait for this piece of equipment. I got to win the, yeah, fuck that. Either buy a couple of dumbbells off of fucking Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace, use those at home. You're going to get in better shape on a more consistent basis than trying to fight for a piece of equipment at the gym. Unless you got the time where like people aren't working out. Your most busiest times at most box gyms is in the morning because before most people go to work. So if a majority of the population is 9 to 5, most people are at the gym from 5 o'clock in the morning to like 8-ish. They get out, they go to work. And then you got the second wave, which is 6 to 8 o'clock at night, 6, 8, 9 o'clock at night. You want to avoid those times. So that's number one. Number two is, who do you listen to? I'm here on this podcast, but the focus isn't training. It is for this month, but my focus is more on like the single dad experience and what we go through. But when it comes to this industry, you want to find the voices that are going to lead you in the right direction. And it's not about, oh, look at how chunky my ass looks, and for you ladies out there, or how big my biceps are for the guys out, how, I got bowling ball shoulders, and this is how, like, all that stuff to me is ridiculous. If you're a single dad working your ass off, some of you are working 2 jobs, some of you are fighting just to see your kids, you don't, like, in my opinion, you don't have time for that fucking nonsense. You just want straight talk, like, here, tell me what's the thing that I need to do. And so I've got 3 books in here. Again, these aren't endorsements necessarily, but these are people that I was like, hey, this is actually really good information. The first one is from a cat. His name is Shane Ellison. He has his own business, not in training, but in supplements. And this is the book that he wrote. Look how thin that is. It's only 120 pages, talking about how to work out, what to eat, what to avoid. The name of this book is The Stop Eating So Fucking Much Diet. And that's one of the reasons why I like them. It's just straight to the point. That's that thin. Really good information. The next book that I want to share is called Body for Life by Bill Phillips. This book is also like working out, has routines in here, shows you the exercises. But the thing that I liked about this book, and again, it's not that thick. This one is probably only about 180, 200, 190 pages, 200 pages. The reason why I like this book and what he's suggesting in here is to do a weight and cardio routine. Like he's got split days. Like one day you're doing weight routine, one day you're doing a cardio routine, one day you're doing a weight routine, one day you're doing a cardio routine. And it's good information. And so another good book, Body for Life. Last one. When I was training, I had clients and stuff. I wanted to find the best information out there. And this book is called How to Eat, Move, and Be Healthy by Paul Chek. Really good information, very detailed. In here, he talks about a lot of stuff: working out, diet, supplements, how to move your body, flexibility, conditioning. All these things are all in this book, and it's not that very thick either. This book is about 250 pages, but really good information. So why do I bring up the books? Because I think it's important when you're on your fitness journey, in the physical project, you want to get the best information that you can. And one of the things that I've learned from going through all these books, and I have more at home, these are the ones that I brought. What I learned is what I'm giving you in this video. Simplicity is the best remedy for what you're going through as a single dad. Keep it simple. So here's how I would do this routine. Start with your schedule. The schedule that I'm using for the Single Dad Project is Wednesdays. And this is just historically for me, every Wednesday was when I was checking my numbers. So what I would do when we release this podcast, it's going to be on the 8th of October. What I normally do is on Wednesday is the day that I check my weight. If I can check it, I'll check my body fat. If I can check it, I'll check my pulse. Hang on. Okay. I didn't bring a scale because most people know what a scale is. So the numbers that I check, it's just very basic numbers, but you want one of these three, or if you can, two of the three, or if you can, all three. One, you want to check the weight on your body weight on a scale. I wouldn't get married to the number on the scale, though. To me, I don't care. It's like I used to tell my clients, the number on the scale is like a pocket watch to me. It's going to give me the number for that specific day and time, and then we'll check it next week or next month and see how much of it has changed. Doesn't matter to me which pocket watch is giving me the number. Doesn't matter to me which scale is giving me the number. As long as I have the same scale, because different scales will give you slightly different numbers. As long as you're using the same scale, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if your scale is off by 5 pounds. As long as you're using the same scale, stick with it. Back when I was wrestling, even when I was a wrestling coach and we'd go to another school, one of the things that our coaches used to tell us is you got to be like 2 pounds below your weight in our scale, because the other school's scale might be off by a little bit or a pound or whatever. And if you're right on weight on our scale and we go to another school and you're overweight, we warned you, 2 pounds under. So I take that experience to what I'm talking about now. I don't care about the scale as long as the scale that you have is the one that you use all the time. So that's the first one, is check your weight. And don't get married to the weight. It doesn't matter. It's just a way to say, here I am today at this point in time. Let's see how much it changes. Because the very least you need is, where am I? So I can see, did it go up and down a month from now, or 2 months from now, or 3 months from now? You got to have a record. So this is the other thing, is you want to be able to track stuff, and this is what I'm talking about. The second thing, if you can get your hands on it, I mean, these they sell at like Walgreens, Walmart, body fat tester. It's very simple. If I get any trainers watching this video and being like, oh, that's not blah, 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 again, I don't give a shit. Because it's just a piece of equipment that's telling me what is the number now. I don't need it to be super sophisticated. I just need it to tell me a number now that I can check against 30 days later, or 20 days later, or 40 days later, or whatever. So these body fat testers are about 20, 25, 30 bucks at, like I said, a Walgreens or a Walmart. You use it just like you're playing a video game. Nothing fancy about it. You plug in your numbers. The numbers are your height, your weight, your age, and I think that's all of them. And then you hit start, and then you just wait. So this body fat tester is the same body fat tester that I've been using for myself for the last 8-10 years. With this tester, I've been all the way down to 11% body fat and all the way up to 26% body fat. So for me, it's just a way to track it. It's nothing more than that. And then the last thing is a blood pressure monitor. So again, this little thing I got at Walgreens, I've had it for a few years. It basically goes around the wrist, strap it up, hit start. And once it gets going, you'll hear it. You just wait for it to do its thing, and then it's going to spit out the number for you. So sitting here right now at 10:58 p.m., dang, PJ, it's late, sorry. Friday, October 3rd, I have a pulse of 79, which is a little high. And then it's the blood pressure is 154/82, which is also a little high. But that's all I do. I just, what's the number on the scale? What does the body fat tester tell me? And then what does the blood pressure tell me? Those are the three that I keep track of. For the longest time, I had just a scale, and then once I found out what these things did, I'm like, all right, I want to check what my body fat is. And then after that, then I added the blood pressure monitor. Because to me, that was like an extra layer of, I think that's an important number to keep track of. So the number on the scale, like I said, it's not really that important, but you want to know what it is, you want to track it. So the number on the scale, what's interesting is if you weigh yourself in the morning, same scale, same day, but different times of the day, you weigh yourself in the afternoon, you weigh yourself at night, you're going to get this kind of a look, because your body weight fluctuates depending on how much liquid you're ingesting, how much food you're taking in, how much you're going to the bathroom. So your body weight throughout the day is basically doing this. That's why I don't care about the number, but I want to track it at least once a month, usually the first of the month or the first of the year or whatever. This guy, same thing happens with your body fat, but if your weight is doing this kind of a wavy motion, like more frequently, your body fat is a slower wave. So you're going to see, if you track your body fat number, that it fluctuates on a slower scale. And obviously, you want the body fat number going down. Anytime that you're losing weight, it's not a straight line. It's always going to do this. Same with the body fat. It's gonna wave on the way down. So if you have access to those two at the very least, then you have a picture of where you're at. The reason why I added the blood pressure monitor was because it tells me what my heart is doing. So the scale just tells me what I weigh on Earth. The body fat tester kind of gives me an idea of the difference between what that weight number is and what the body fat is. And a body fat percentage, and I'll do this on the next show. I don't have the chart in front of me, but a body fat percentage for guys, if you're in good shape, like, you see the guys that have the 6-pack abs and shit like that, their body fat percentage is in the low numbers, 12%, 14%, 15%. On average, depending on your age, for most guys, you want to be around 18 to 22% body fat. For most guys. The older you get, the higher that body fat percentage goes, not necessarily because you're out of shape, but just the way our bodies are when we age, numbers tend to go higher, get slower, things like that. So if you're on the younger side, let's say you're a 30-year-old single dad, and your body fat percentage is like 29%, that's bad. You want to get that number down fast. You can most likely see it in the mirror. You see it on the scale, but this is the number that tells you, like, hey, I'm going the wrong way fast. I need to get it down. And so even the reason why I like tracking the body fat is because it doesn't matter how heavy you are. So I've had clients that are like 6'4", 6'5", 230 pounds, but they're 230 pounds at 20% body fat. Those guys are fucking monsters. And then I've had guys that are shorter than me, obviously skinnier, that, are like at also like 20% body fat. So like the body fat scale I like better because it doesn't matter how tall, how wide you are, what it says on the weight scale. The body fat scale is a little bit more accurate for me, in the sense that, like, I see people that are in the 18 to 16 to 14% body fat range, like, slightly healthier than the people that are in the 26, 27, 28, 29% body fat range. All that being said, body fat doesn't tell me what my heart is doing. I've had experiences with clients who you would think they're in really great shape, and then they go see a doctor. The doctor does blood work. They come back and they're like, what the fuck? Like, my doctor's saying I got this, I've got that. So you want to check, at least for me, the next thing you want to check for is your heart. What's your heart doing? And on here, like I said, my numbers were 154 over 87. The average that you want to be at, that's a good average, is 120 over 80, 120 over 70. And I'm not concerned about the high numbers right now, because when I track this every Wednesday, I'm usually around the 120 over 80 range. So if it was consistently high, if I was consistently at 150 over 80 or whatever it's at 84, then I would be concerned, but I'm not. But that's because I track it on the regular. So I'm going to end this show with those three things, because we got a lot of month left here for the physical project. I'm going to have one of my trainer friends come on board, and I'm going to ask him questions and let him talk. And you'll see um, the things that we're talking about are in this narrow path where we're pretty much in agreement. He his ideology on working out is a little bit different than mine, but for almost everything else, we're on the same page. And I consider him a really good trainer. He trains a lot of people, cops, nurses, office workers, anybody that can basically fit in his schedule and his in on the budget that he's asking them to put forth. But one of the things that I want to end here with is just the simplicity. I'm talking a lot because I'm trying to give you a lot of all this information, like 20-ish years of information I have in my head. I'm like, how do I narrow it down into like 45 minutes? So those are the three things: is decide what you want and why, and hopefully your why is big enough to pull you forward to actually accomplish the thing that you want to do. What's your schedule? Figure out your schedule and where can you fit in this workout that I'll give you in just a little bit here. And the third part is start tracking your numbers. You want to track your weight at the very least, track the body fat if you can, and track your blood pressure because you want to know what your heart's doing. Part of the reason, PJ, why that workout was so hard is because, and I'm not saying anything about PJ because I'm trying to offend him. This is like the norm for most Americans. Part of the reason why you were feeling the stress of that workout is because your heart isn't in condition. It's not the muscles. It's not like, oh, I can't do push-ups because I'm not, like, my shoulders aren't strong enough. You also have a muscle inside of your rib cage that is trying to work as hard as the shoulders and the triceps and the chest and everything else. But one of the things I used to tell people is this is the most important muscle that you want to take care of. Like, fuck your biceps, take care of your heart. And so the workout that I'm going to give, I'll find a way to put it on the screen here. It's a very simple workout. I've mentioned it before in one of our shows back in March. It's basically 3 exercises, 30 seconds on each exercise, 3 sets, back to back. And in the future, I'll give you something even simpler than that. I mean, I can give you a simpler routine than that now. But this is the one that I was basically, this was my baseline to check every client that I was training. It was like, hey, do this one first. Let's get these numbers. Let's get a feel for how this feels early on in the training. And then we'll do it again at the end and see how you feel at the end. I guarantee you're going to be in better shape then than you are now. So the routine was 3 exercises. The 3 exercises is a squat, a push-up, and a sit-up. You're doing each of those exercises for 30 seconds. So you get a little timer on your phone. Hit the timer. You do 30 seconds of a squat. Once the 30 seconds is done, you drop down, you do 30 seconds of a push-up. Once the push-up is done, you turn over, do 30 seconds of a sit-up. That's 1 set. Then when the 30 seconds is up for the sit-ups, you stand up, you do your squats again, you do your push-ups, you do your sit-ups. That's the 2nd set. And then one more time, do squats, push-ups, sit-ups. That's your 3rd set. Comes out to like 4.5 minutes if I remember right. And it's just, that's all you need to do. If you're starting out as a single dad, you're on the couch constantly, or you're not working out a lot, that's the routine to do. Now, I'm going to say this because I know if somebody's smart, they're going to catch this and it'll be like, well, if it's only a 4.5 minute workout, why didn't you do it while you were doing your overnight job and picking up your kid from school? Bless you. because my energy levels were so bad that even a 4.5 minute routine was not helping me. So I converted my thought process to like, I'm just going to regulate how I eat, instead of trying to exert my body with the limited amount of energy that I have. So that's why I always mention, like, what's your schedule? Can you fit it in your schedule? Because if you can't fit it in your schedule, then next week I'll bring up the how to regulate your diet so that you can lose weight. Um, it's not going to be fast. It's not going to be like a big drop, but you'll be able to regulate it so you feel healthier. Um, any questions, PJ? Because I'm finishing up on that. All right. So that's the show for today. October 3rd, Friday, October 3rd. By the time you guys see this, it should be the 8th. And then on the 8th, I'll talk more about the regulating how you eat so that you can get a grasp on that, because most people eat like shit. And with that, my name is Henry, PJ over to my right. And thanks for watching the show. We'll catch you on the next one.